Before we start, warning. Spoilers ahead. Today, I'm going to recap a 2004 Korean drama movie called Romance of Their Own. The film is about a rustic girl who moves to Seoul to live with her mom. Her pure charm attracts two popular guys from different schools and they fight each other to win her heart. However, one of the guys has a fatal secret not to love her. What's that secret? How is their love triangle story? Let's find out together. Han, a rustic girl, has just arrived in Seoul to start a new life. However, her first day in Seoul is not as beautiful as she imagines. As soon as she gets off the train, she is stranded between two high school gangs who are about to get into a brawl. One of the gang's leaders is Won, a super rich student who is cold-hearted. Meanwhile, on the other side, his rival gang's leader is Tae, a baby-faced guy who loves to fight. The brawl turns out to be very chaotic. Everyone is beating each other without caring about Han, who can only grimace in fear and snuggle up against the wall. Fortunately, she didn't get hurt. In Seoul, Han will live with her mother who divorced her father when she was a kid. After her parents divorced, she's then raised by her father in a rural area called Gongju. However, her father just died, so she decides to live with her mother along with her stepfather, stepbrother, and stepsister, Darum, who is the same age as her. On the other hand, Han is not worried even though she lives in a new city. It's because her childhood friend, Jae-hee, also moved and lives in Seoul. Moreover, she is also happy because she knows that her childhood love also lives there. That night, Han is so cheerful because she can finally meet Jae-hee, but her joy is gone in an instant after she finds out that her childhood love is now Jae-hee's boyfriend. However, she pretends to be happy in front of them even though her heart is broken into pieces. On her way home, Han can't hold her tears anymore and cries loudly. Unexpectedly, Won and his friend are on that bus too. They are trying to find out why she is crying, but she doesn't really respond to them and immediately gets off the bus. It seems that Han's pure charm attracts Won. On the next day, while Han and Darum are taking a walk somewhere, another brawl breaks out. But this time, it's between a mafia gang and Tae's high school gang. Police cars immediately come to the location, making everyone involved in that brawl run away in all directions. It's bad for Han because she is alone now. Darum just left her to meet Won, who turns out to be her schoolmate. Suddenly, a man puts his arm around Han to hide between her umbrella. It turns out that the man is Tae. But Tae is a bit shocked because he thinks that he recognizes Han, but he can't remember who she is. Meanwhile, Won and Darum see that their rival, Tae, is being so close with Han. Of course they don't let it. Won immediately warns Tae to get away from Han or else he will kick his ass. However, Tae finally remembers who Han is after Darum called Han by her full name. He immediately runs to take Han away, but Won and Darum manage to find them. Tae has to leave her now. Before he runs away, he surprisingly calls Han's older sister and asks her to always remember him. The day after, Han goes to her new school. Apparently, she goes to the same school with Darum and Won. Tae, who is not from that school, somehow knows that she goes to that school. He does a risky action by visiting and bringing her some pizza. That school gang members finally notice that their rival dares to sneak into their school, so they chase him. But Tae manages to escape from their school. When the school bell rings, Tae confidently stands in front of the school gate. He is waiting for Han. Won is not happy and he tells him that Han is his girlfriend. The fight is unavoidable and Tae clearly can't deal with that many people. But Han suddenly comes and protects Tae. She even takes care of his wound. Tae is very happy and he finally has the guts to tell Han that he likes her. He also asks her out on a date. On the other hand, the way Tae and Won treat her leaves her confused. She has never been in such a situation before. Meanwhile, Han is waiting for Tae as they are supposed to have a date at that time. However, Tae doesn't show up, so Han decides to call him through the phone box. Somehow, Won is outside the telephone box and he suddenly brings her into his car. Surprisingly, Jae-hee is in his car, but he immediately takes her out. It turns out that Jae-hee cheats on her boyfriend. Few moments later, Won also confesses his love to Han and asks her to be his girlfriend. But she still can't decide anything at the moment. Finally, after strolling through the city, he gives Han a cell phone so they can communicate. It turns out that Tae couldn't attend the date because his grandmother had died. Now, he has to live alone. On the other hand, Won and Han are dating for the first time. But, while they are dating, they find Tae is getting beaten by a group of mafia. Won decides to help him and he asks Han to bring Tae home while he fights the mafia. Once they reach Tae's house, Han immediately takes care of Tae's wound and cooks him some porridge. But, when Han is not aware, Tae secretly hides his family photo. Why did he do so? Meanwhile, knowing that Won is interested in Han, Jae-hee finds a way to make Han jealous. She tells her that she will go to a nightclub with Won. Han doesn't want to lose to her, so she also comes to the nightclub, but with too much makeup. It's because she has never been in a nightclub before. There, Han tells Won the reason she comes there. Won immediately brings her to a place where everyone can see them and suddenly kisses her, in front of Jae-hee. It makes Jae-hee feel like a loser. But somehow, someone spreads the photo of them kissing to the internet and Tae is so jealous when he finds out. He sadly tells Han that he is so disappointed with her. The next day, Han visits Tae's house to check his condition, but he's not home. Unluckily, she sees the photo which Tae hid before. Yes, it's their old family photo, and she is in the picture. Now she remembers her childhood moments with Tae. It turns out that Han is Tae's stepsister. After divorcing his wife, Han's father remarried Tae's mother. Han and Tae used to spend a lot of time playing together when they were little. That is why Tae fell in love with her, even though they are blood related. On the other hand, Tae is so panicked realizing that Han is in his house and probably already saw the photo. He rushes to meet Han to explain everything, but he ends up having an accident. Luckily, he didn't get any serious injuries. When Han visits him in the hospital, he admits to her that all this time he didn't tell her the truth. It's because he loves her and he wants to be with her. That accident makes Tae know something about his health. He just found out that all this time he has a severe heart disorder. The doctor tells him that he has to undergo a surgery to fix it. However, Tae decides to postpone the surgery and not tell anyone about it. Meanwhile, after knowing that Won is Han's stepbrother, he finally makes up with him. Won is sure that he won't approach her anymore. One day, after visiting their father's graveyard, Tae's grandmother who comes from Australia asks Tae to live with her in Australia. However, Tae refuses and says that he wants to stay in Seoul. It's because he wants to live with Han. Won can't believe what he heard. From that day, Han will live in Tae's house, making Won worried even though they are siblings. But one night, Han finally assures Won that she is fully his and he doesn't have to worry about Tae. On the other hand, after school, Han and Won go out for a walk together. Unexpectedly, they find their school friend, Jung, is harassed by a group of men. Jung is known as a sly and two-faced girl. Won saves her from those men even though her reputation is not good. After being saved by Won, Jung spoiledly asks Won to take her home. She also clings to Won in front of Han, making Han a bit jealous. Meanwhile, Tae is having family time with Han and her family, and they decide to go to karaoke. Unexpectedly, they caught Won and Jung being together outside their karaoke room, but Won tells them not to misunderstand. However, the misunderstanding is getting worse as Jung tells them that Tae is the one who ordered her to ruin their relationship. Tae is so surprised because he doesn't even know Jung. This incident worsens the relationship between the three of them. At school, Han can't control her emotions and she pushes Jung. At the same time, Won comes and sees what is going on. Suddenly, Jung manipulatively pretends to faint. Han tries to convince Won that Jung is a two-faced girl, but Won doesn't care about Jung anymore. He just emphasizes that he doesn't believe in Han's feelings for Tae and it is hard for him to see Han live together with Tae. However, Han is already very tired to explain to Won that she only treats Tae as her brother. Their relationship is completely ruined. Meanwhile, Han still tries to confirm the incident to Tae. But unfortunately, Jung calls Tae and says that her mission to ruin Won and Tae's relationship is successful. Tae is so confused about what is going on. Han can't believe what she hears and she's really disappointed in Tae. Tae thinks that he won't be able to convince Han after what's happened. Thus, he decides to move to Australia to live with his grandmother. Before leaving, he asks Won to take care of Han. On the other hand, Darum and Won are looking for Han to inform her about Tae's plan. However, they find Han is being beaten by Jae-ri and Jung. It turns out that the person behind all of this is Jae-ri. She doesn't want Han to be together with Won. After saving Han, Won explains that Tae is leaving Seoul and they rush to the airport to stop him. But they are too late. Tae's plane has already departed and Han regrets that she didn't believe Tae that time. Few months later, Tae sends them a video about his current life in Australia. In that video, Tae introduces his blind girlfriend to them. Moreover, Tae also calls them to ask how they are. Tae pretends to be happy during the call, even though he actually still can't move on from Han. Meanwhile, Tae finally decides to undergo heart surgery. But unfortunately, his surgery failed and he died. His girlfriend flies to Seoul to inform Tae's friends that he has died. They don't believe her until she finally convinces them by telling them that she can finally see because of Tae's eyes. In the end, she tells Han that Tae loves her so much and he doesn't want his friends to find out if he died due to the surgery. Everyone cries hearing that heartbreaking story. They miss Tae so much, but now they can't meet him anymore. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.